What if the life you're living right now isn't the one that will truly fulfill you? What if real meaning doesn't come from comfort, but from struggle, purpose, and the legacy you leave behind? Introduction. Today, we're diving into 9 steps to build a life of meaning by Rick Walker, a powerful blueprint for anyone who feels the pull toward a deeper, more intentional existence. Walker blends ancient wisdom, modern psychology, and real-life strategies to show us how to rise above distraction, sharpen our mindset, and design a life that matters. If you've ever asked yourself, what is my life really about? This book offers a compelling answer. Chapter 1. Embrace discomfort for growth. We all crave comfort. It feels safe, predictable, and easy. But Rick Walker opens the book by reminding us that comfort rarely creates growth. In fact, the things that shape us the most usually come through challenge, pain, or even failure. Think about it. The moments you're most proud of in life probably didn't come from lying on the couch. They came from pushing yourself, whether that was studying late to pass an exam, sticking through tough training, or choosing the harder but more meaningful path. Walker explains that discomfort isn't the enemy. It's the training ground for strength, resilience, and meaning. When we avoid struggle, we don't just avoid pain. We also avoid the lessons and breakthroughs that could change our lives. Growth, he argues, is like lifting weights. Muscles only get stronger when they're put under stress. The same goes for our minds, our character, and even our relationships. He challenges us to see discomfort not as something to escape, but as something to lean into. Whether it's having a difficult conversation, tackling a tough project, or chasing a dream that scares you, choosing the harder road is often the doorway to becoming the person you're meant to be. In short, Chapter 1 sets the foundation. If you want a life of meaning, you can't build it in the shallow waters of comfort. You have to step into the deep end, because that's where real growth happens. Chapter 2. Develop mental clarity and resilience. In this chapter, Rick Walker dives into the power of a clear mind and a strong spirit. He points out that most of us are constantly distracted, pulled in 100 directions by phones, deadlines, and the noise of daily life. The problem is, when our minds are cluttered, our decisions become shaky, and our sense of purpose fades into the background. Walker suggests that mental clarity doesn't just happen by accident. It's something you have to create. That might mean setting aside quiet time each morning to reflect, journal, or meditate. It might mean cutting out habits that cloud your thinking, like overconsumption of social media or constant multitasking. The point is simple. Clarity comes from intentional focus. But clarity alone isn't enough. Life will still throw challenges at you, and that's where resilience comes in. Walker explains resilience as the ability to bend without breaking, to turn setbacks into setups for growth. He encourages us to see stress differently, not as something that crushes us, but as fuel that can be redirected toward progress. The big takeaway here is that a meaningful life requires both focus and toughness. If you could train your mind to stay clear under pressure and bounce back when things go wrong, you'll have the foundation to move forward with purpose, no matter what life throws your way. Chapter 3. Morning Mastery. Start your day with intention. Rick Walker emphasizes that how you begin your day often sets the tone for everything that follows. Think about it. On days you wake up rushing, scrolling your phone, or reacting to stress, everything feels off balance. But on the days you start with purpose, you feel grounded and in control. That's the idea behind morning mastery. Walker suggests creating simple morning rituals that help you step into the day with clarity and energy. This doesn't have to be complicated. It could be as straightforward as making your bed, stretching, journaling, or taking a quiet walk. The key is consistency. By starting your mornings with intention, you train your mind to lead instead of simply react. He also points out that mornings are the best time to invest in yourself before the demands of the world take over. Even 15 to 30 minutes of focused activity, reading something uplifting, writing down goals, or practicing gratitude, can create momentum that carries into your entire day. The lesson here is simple but powerful. Don't leave your mornings to chance. Design them. Own them. By doing so, you reclaim control over your time and mindset, which in turn strengthens your ability to live with meaning. Chapter 3 reminds us that success and purpose don't start with big, dramatic changes. They start with how you choose to greet each new day. Chapter 4. Turn stress into fuel for growth. Stress gets a bad reputation, but Rick Walker flips the script. He argues that stress isn't always the enemy. It's often a signal that we're stretching ourselves, pushing into new territory. The real problem isn't stress itself, but how we respond to it. Think of stress like fire. Left unmanaged, it can burn you out. But if you learn to channel it, that same fire can keep you warm, give you energy, and push you forward. Walker calls us to see stress as potential fuel. When life feels heavy, instead of saying, "Why me?" ask, "How can I use this?" That shift in perspective turns obstacles into opportunities. He also reminds us that some of the most meaningful experiences in life come packaged with stress. Launching a new project, raising kids, starting a business, or even chasing a dream. If we run from the pressure, we also run from the growth. The key is not eliminating stress, but building habits that help us manage it. Breathing techniques, exercise, healthy routines, or simply slowing down to reflect. Walker's message is clear. Stress doesn't have to crush you. It can shape you, strengthen you, and refine you into someone more capable than before. Instead of avoiding it, learn to carry it well, and it will become one of your greatest tools for growth. Chapter 5. Lead with intention, not compulsion. In this chapter, Rick Walker tackles the idea of leadership, not just in the workplace, but in life. We often think of leaders as CEOs or politicians, but Walker says leadership starts much closer to home, in how you guide your family, your community, and even yourself. The danger, he explains, is when leadership comes from compulsion, doing things because you feel forced, pressured, or afraid of what others think. That kind of leadership is shaky and unsustainable. Instead, Walker challenges us to lead with intention. That means acting from clarity, conviction, and values rather than fear or obligation. Leading with intention also means taking ownership. Instead of waiting for others to set the tone, you become the one who chooses direction, encourages others, and builds trust. This doesn't mean being perfect. It means being authentic, consistent, and willing to make tough choices for the sake of a bigger purpose. Walker emphasizes that intentional leadership creates ripple effects. A parent who leads with calm and purpose shapes their children's future. A manager who leads with respect and vision empowers their team. Even in friendships, being intentional sets the stage for deeper, more meaningful connections. The core message? Leadership isn't about control. It's about responsibility. When you choose to lead with intention, you stop reacting to life and start shaping it. And that's how real meaning begins to spread from you into the lives of others. Chapter 6. Build a meaning-centered identity. So many of us define ourselves by surface-level things. Our job title, how much money we make, or the approval we get from others. Rick Walker warns that this kind of identity is fragile. The moment circumstances change, a job loss, a financial setback, a failed relationship, we feel lost, like we don't know who we are anymore. That's why he stresses the importance of building a meaning-centered identity. Instead of anchoring your sense of self in external achievements, you ground it in something deeper. Your values, your principles, and the bigger why behind your actions. Walker explains that when you live this way, Setbacks don't shake you as much. You might lose a job, but you won't lose your purpose. You might face criticism, but you'll still know who you are. A meaning-centered identity gives you stability, even when life feels uncertain. He encourages readers to ask, what do I want my life to stand for? And what do I want people to remember about me? By reflecting on these questions, you can start aligning your daily choices with your deeper mission. The takeaway here is simple but powerful. Don't build your identity on shifting sand. Build it on meaning. When your sense of self comes from purpose instead of circumstances, you become more grounded, more resilient, and more capable of living a life that truly matters. Chapter 7. Design a legacy that lasts. Rick Walker shifts the focus here from living day to day to thinking long term. He reminds us that one day, every single one of us will leave something behind, a legacy. The question is, will it be one you're proud of, or just a trail of busyness and distraction? A legacy isn't just about wealth or achievements. It's about impact, how you made people feel, the values you passed on, and the difference you left in the world. Walker encourages us to start designing that legacy now, not later. Waiting until someday often means it never happens. He introduces the idea of strategic relevancy. This means living in a way that keeps your influence and contributions meaningful even after you're gone. Maybe that's raising children with strong character, mentoring younger people, writing or creating something lasting, or simply showing up with kindness in your community. The key message is that a meaningful legacy doesn't just happen. It's built with daily choices. Each conversation, each act of generosity, and each stand for what you believe in adds to the story you'll leave behind. Walker challenges readers, don't just chase success, chase significance. Success fades quickly, but significance echoes long after you're gone. Designing your legacy now ensures that your life will keep making an impact, even when you're no longer here to see it. Chapter 8. Blend modern tools with ancient wisdom. In this chapter, Rick Walker highlights something many of us overlook. The best way forward often comes from combining the old with the new. On one hand, we have modern tools, technology, psychology, productivity systems that make life more efficient. On the other, we have ancient wisdom, principles of discipline, virtue, and reflection that have stood the test of time. Walker argues that true growth happens when we weave these two together. Modern tools can help us track habits, set reminders, or organize our lives, but without a deeper why, they become empty checklists. Ancient wisdom reminds us of the bigger picture, living with courage, practicing gratitude, and pursuing virtue. He encourages us not to chase every new hack or trend, but instead to anchor our self-improvement in timeless truths. For example, journaling is both ancient and modern. It's a reflective practice used for centuries, yet now we have apps that make it even more accessible. Meditation, too, is rooted in old traditions, but is now backed by science as a tool for mental clarity. The heart of this chapter is about balance. Use modern tools, but don't become enslaved by them. Learn from the past, but don't ignore the opportunities of the present. When you combine both, you create a grounded, effective path to building a meaningful life. Chapter 9. Love something greater. Face a worthy enemy. Rick Walker closes the book with a bold challenge. If you want a meaningful life, you need two things: a higher love and a worthy enemy. First, the higher love. This is about attaching your heart to something bigger than yourself. It could be your faith, your family, your community, or even a cause that lights a fire in you. When your love is directed toward something greater, your life gains direction. It gives you the strength to sacrifice, endure challenges, and keep going even when things get hard. Without this, life can feel shallow and aimless. Second, the worthy enemy. Walker doesn't mean picking fights with people. He's talking about identifying the challenges, weaknesses, or injustices worth battling. Maybe your enemy is complacency, fear, or self-doubt. Maybe it's a problem in the world you feel called to help solve. Having a true enemy forces you to rise, sharpen your skills, and grow into a stronger version of yourself. What makes this chapter powerful is how these two elements work together. A higher love pulls you forward, while a worthy enemy pushes you to level up. One gives you purpose, the other gives you resistance to grow against. Walker's final message is clear. A life of meaning isn't built on comfort or chance. It's built by choosing what and who you'll fight for, and by daring to love something bigger than yourself. Conclusion. And that wraps up 9 Steps to Build a Life of Meaning by Rick Walker. At its core, this book is a reminder that meaning isn't something you stumble upon. It's something you build step by step through the choices you make every day. From embracing discomfort and mastering your mornings, to leading with intention and designing a legacy, Walker gives us a practical, yet deeply human roadmap for living with purpose. What really stands out is how balanced his approach is. He doesn't just talk about grit and discipline. He also weaves in ideas of love, forgiveness, and grace. It's a powerful reminder that a meaningful life isn't just about achieving more, but about becoming more resilient, more intentional, and more connected to something greater than ourselves. Of course, this summary only scratches the surface. The full book dives deeper into the stories, examples, and exercises that can help you apply these steps in your own life. So if this message resonates with you, I definitely recommend picking up a copy and walking through the steps yourself. Before you go, I'd love to hear from you. What's one area of your life where you want to build more meaning? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And if you enjoyed this summary, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and share this video with a friend who could use a little inspiration today. Remember, comfort is easy, but meaning is earned. The question is, what will you choose to build?